Okay, welcome back to another episode of Unify. Today's topic is going to be something that you guys might relate to, especially for the younger guys or the guys who are already above 30 who are planning to start a business. And I think this is something that can be relatable for all of you. And what we're going to be sharing is something more general. We're going to be sharing why people actually dive into business at this current era, and the things that you guys can look out for before starting a business, so that you guys don't make probably some of the same mistakes that we all have back then. And today we have a group of people who had actually have very good experiences in business. We have Mr. Lim Eng Hai, who actually was a business analyst, former journalist in Straits Times as well, and we got Arthur, who has a lot of experience in the production. Zach and Arthur has a lot of experience in the production house, and I think all of us can actually share with you guys the reason why people actually dive into business, the fantasy behind starting a business, and also how we all manage to transit and start making money, being more profitable in businesses. And yeah, let's dive into it. Why do people actually start diving into business in this current era? I think this is the question that a lot of people would want to know. We have been in the era of working as an employee before. I think back then it was a thing, Singapore, you study hard, find a job, get a great job and all of that. But at the end of the day, a lot of people, I believe even the uni student, the uni grads, after working job for maybe 3, 4, 5 years or maybe even 10 years, eventually transit into becoming entrepreneurs and start trying to run their own businesses with whatever capital they have. Why do you think that? Why do you guys think that that transition actually happened?
They want to be their own boss. I wanted to be my own boss. I actually thought of going to business for myself when I was maybe 18, but I never dared. So I just took on a job. And while I was taking on a job, I still want to be my own boss, but I never did until much later in life. But I know my impulse was, I want to be the master of my own destiny. I want to be in control. I was not happy with the work environment. So, and I noticed a lot of people want to be their own boss very early on nowadays. So I think that's the first start. They just don't want the employment model. They want to be a businessman. Maybe the possibility of riches, possibility of freedom, the possibility of controlling your own life. But actually the reality may not be that, but that's the dream.
At what age you actually, decided that, it's time for me to start looking for this freedom that you're talking about?
Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis.
Actually, in my particular situation, after building up a career in the securities market, I was staring at imminent job loss. I knew I was going to lose my job within a few years. I'm a very good economist and forecaster. What happens when you forecast you're going to lose your job? So I started looking for something to do.
Understand.
Right? And yeah, so that was, for me, it was a necessity.
What about you guys?
Was it because is it a very rare thing for people to want to go into business at your time of age?
Yeah, it's quite common actually. I remember a conversation with a lawyer. He said, a lot of people want to go into business nowadays. But whatever you do, don't set up the corner cafe. That's the surest way to lose money. I remember that conversation. But what that tells me is a lot of people, by the time they hit about 40, they've already worked for 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And been there, done that. Now the next adventure is, let's go into business for myself. So I think it's a natural impulse.
So your one was the time before that was going into business after having experience, is it?
Yes.
I think nowadays that people see social media and they see people who are already achieving their high goals already, right? They want to be that also. I think that's what's happening today, because there's more young and younger entrepreneurs want to be entrepreneurs nowadays, because I think it's because of social media. They want to see these people having all this money and stuff and freedom, and then they want to join in that boat also. I think that's one of the reasons.
I think it's becoming back then the idea of being an entrepreneur was or running your own business, being your own boss was a necessity, like you say.
Yeah.
But then over time it becomes a trend. You know, they see.
No, also there was a time when if you want to set up a business, you got to put up a lot of capital.
Yeah.
So I remember I was analyzing a business trend. A very famous corporate chief said, "We got to go into asset-light strategy," so that it become like a new thing. So before that, everything is asset-heavy, right? You got to put up millions to get anything started.
Yeah.
So we came to a point in time where in the world where it is now more and more possible. You don't have to own the ship to go into shipping. You lease the ship and then you sublease it. You don't have to own the property to make money from property.
Yeah.
You lease it from someone else and then you lease. That's where the Airbnb and all that come along, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's because we are now in the asset-light is possible era. Young people can get started.
Yeah.
But in our time, we have to save millions first before we put it at risk. Wasn't it like that? Yeah. You have to save millions before you even go into business for yourself.
Yeah, you have to have backup money.
Yeah.
I think for me it's slightly different because I after I graduated I understand business because I did business school, but I like creativity, so I went into design, right? But I think I felt like after 3-4 years I didn't feel that I'm at my potential creative output because I'm working for someone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be independent. So I came out to offer my services. So it's not really a business per se, but then I set up, it's like freelance first, and then I set up my own company, and then before you know it, I didn't have to advertise myself. There's no cost involved as well. And basically I work at whoever hires me. So that became something that I enjoyed doing. But after many years of doing that, I realized that I can't scale myself because that's all I can do, right?
Yeah.
Professional fees can increase over a period of time, but there's a cap. After that, you can't max it anymore, right?
You
And
come
then unless
through the ceiling,
So of course, when I was younger, I would take on multiple projects.
Yeah.
So yes, one project may cost this much, but I'm taking 3 or 4 per week, and I can run that way. But after a while, I'm exhausted, you know, and I still can't say, hey, I send my guys there. You know, I'm behind the scene. I can't because it's like the director has to show up.
You have
the
to
DOP has
watch
show up,
everything.
and the art director has to show up, right? I'm the one that people will call my name, like, hey, this thing, and they ask.
Yeah.
So before I knew it, I was 50 years old. You know, and technically, I mean, in between, yes, I did my fashion interests. I have a shop and all that, but being an independent, maybe for a while, I can cover, I can make some money. It wasn't big money, you know. Again, I can't scale because then before you know, all these mass market guys come in, right?
Yeah.
Your H&M, your Topshop at that time, all that.
You're talking about the limitation of going to business for yourself, right?
Correct,
But
yeah.
it's interesting what you said earlier, right? You were in employment for a short while,
Yeah,
and then you came out on your own.
yeah.
And I guess you could call it freelance, or you could
Yeah.
basically I say you set up business of your own.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
became responsible for your own financial well-being.
Yes.
You were actually in business, but you didn't see it.
Correct,
that way.
correct. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's like we are an employee for ourselves. you
Yeah.
know.
Self-employed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're self-employed. You don't want to be employed, so
Yeah.
you're going to
And
self-employed.
in fact, being self-employed, you are working more hours than the guy who goes
Of
to
course.
9 to 5, right? Because you're
you
constantly
didn't
working.
know that?
No, I knew that, but I think a lot of people think, wow, you earn a lot of money, like, but I'm not like the investment type of money where
Yeah.
you know I roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I have to work for it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. And I think at 50, I kind of like it hit me like, shit.
and then what do you do?
And I went reverse, right? I go and work for someone.
Then you went back employment mode.
And at first, I wanted to be like more like a consultant with all my years of experiences.
Yeah.
But I think in Singapore, being from production side, and you're not from an agency, people don't really look at you that way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So then that's why I actually went into wellness as a brand consultant of sorts.
If I may go back, actually,
Yeah.
I said that people go into business because they want to be their own boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it took you a while to realize you're not your own boss.
Yeah, no.
Your customer is your boss.
Yes. I mean,
Your banker is your boss.
Correct.
If you rented a property, your landlord is your boss.
Yeah.
Maybe your family need money, they're your boss.
Of course, yeah. It's always servicing someone else, and you're the last one.
But it takes a while before you really get to be the boss,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
I agree because I was in that position before. Thinking that self-employment, okay, there was a mindset during back then when as an employee, we don't have that risk. We can work blindly. We can just turn up, clock in, clock out. We still get our commission. Obviously, we our pay, and we still
Assuming the company survives.
correct. Assuming the company survive. Especially if you work, like for example, you work part time or you work full time in a retail store, they're not going to close down that easily. They will still pay you what you're worth until they cut you off. But that is it's a possibility, but we are not sure how far you can go with it.
Yes.
But then when you jump into self-employment, right? You're not trading money for how much hours you put in anymore. It's how much you're worth, how much your business is worth, and how much your business can actually give to people. If not. Okay, for example, if you start your own business as a self-employment, you will definitely have to put in more hours than the usual guys who works in a retail store and all of that, because we are in charge of making sure that the brand doesn't. If we're starting a brand, obviously it's a brand. The brand doesn't go south. It goes out of course, and then after that, people don't see you as as somebody who's what's that thing called? Somebody who runs the business very well, or the business is in its peak. Like if you're gonna start your own clothing brand, how fast can your clothing brand be as good as Uniqlo? That kind of stuff. And I think people need to understand when they step into business, or especially whatever brands they're trying to run, say clothing brand, they need to have a route that actually arrives to something better than the other brands out there. If they can't do it, then you're just making money for yourself.
That was the thing the bosses were worried about. Now you go into business yourself, it become your worry, right?
Yes.
When we are employees, we take care of just our job. When you're the boss, what do you take care of?
Everything.
Everything is the word, right? Everything. Which is why you can't work 9 to 5.
Correct. And may I just add? I mean, a lot of fashion students or whatever, when they come out, after a while they realize they can't make money. So what do they do? And in the end, most of them are insurance agents.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, a lot of them become that. I'll meet some friends like, hey, suddenly like dress different. No more funky hair and all that. Oh, a property agent or insurance agent. The other thing I want to note is that being an independent or a business owner, I mean, there's two things that could happen. One is you get into debt, right? Because things are not doing that well, or you work, but people don't pay you or they run away. Like there were several projects that we did, and it became, I had to like engage lawyer, and it became unpleasant, like, I mean, and then you got enough.
Are you talking about collection problem?
Correct.
You get a business, but you don't get paid.
Yeah, and they, which is why, I mean, and a lot of freelancers, they don't have contracts. I mean, I luckily I set out a company, so there's always some form of like, it's a private limited, just to protect myself. So I was good in that way. That it's something that I encourage people to do as well.
I think people tend to forget the moment they step into business, they don't only have to understand that how to market their products or whatever. They also have to understand how finance work.
It's a lot of stuff to do.
They have to understand.
They have to understand the black and white also.
It's like constant things that you have to master. Not really master lah. Like constant thing that you have to know before getting into it. Like I say, finance, how to market stuff properly, how to scale the thing properly, how to everything you have to know. I think the problem is when people think that I'm a very good designer. Assuming we're talking about design, right? I'm a very good designer. That means just because my design is the best, they think that their business can go super far. But the reality is not the case. Everything has to play a part. You may be a very good designer, but you might not know how to market your products properly. You might not know whether people are looking for this and it's on demand, you know. And I think that's the bigger case, and that's the reason why people, I feel, they don't last maybe 2-3 years running their own business and then they will flop and then they just hop on to the next trend constantly. I think this is the main issue for the current our generation.
I think especially for Singapore as well. Singapore is very small, and I mean I've known some designers overseas or in Japan. They're craftsmen, and they can be independent and don't really care. First rental low, and then but somehow there's that niche. But here there's hardly any niche, and that's what is important. Like you can get inspired and aspire to be like that, but the reality is it's not. You have to pay expensive rental, and you don't have any natural resources here. You have to import everything in. Manufacturing is overseas. So all these things you don't take into consideration. You can't even start your business.
Hey, hang on. I think we're not trying to scare people from going to business, right?
No, it's not.
You know, every year there are in Singapore 75,000 businesses being set up.
75,000?
Just in 1 year. In the year to October 2025, 75,000 new businesses are set up. So if they listen to us talking about the trouble and the risk, they're going to do it anyway because hope springs eternal for the entrepreneurial mind, right?
Yeah.
Right. On the other side is 56,000 businesses fail in the same period. But there's still 18,000 extra.
Yeah, of course.
I think we have to ask, why do people go into business despite the possibility of risk?
What defines that fail though? What do you mean by close down?
Liquidation, close down. Either close down by yourself, close down by the bank, or close down by your landlord. You know how they shutter the thing? Right. Some is just liquidation. So let's think about, why do people go into business anyway? What is the attraction that makes people do it despite the risk? I mean, I myself, I can see the risk. In a way, I'm a business risk analyst, right? An investment analyst. So when I analyze the risk by enough, I remember a time friends come to me, hey, how about this? Or how about that? And I was going to a midlife crisis. I said, what's wrong with me? Why do I kill every idea on the table? I just see the risk everywhere and I would not do anything. Until much later in life, I saw something I was prepared to do. But let's not talk about that. Right? But why do people take the risk? I mean, I think you young guys, you went to business for yourself, right? Why do you do it?
I think the main game was, okay, back then I had this quote that I live by. It was, I don't care what I do, as long as I make money. And I think, and it was, I was very hard on that idea for a while, you know. So I was willing to. I've never actually, I've always worked performance-based paying jobs. Okay, I've never take salary before, so I've always take commissions, and it's a risk, you know. It's a performance thing, you know. If you don't perform, you don't get paid,
No money.
you know. But then I don't want to be paid. I don't know why, but I felt that I've seen my parents how they work 8 to 5 and all that. I don't want to get paid for something that I know I can do more, you know, and I'm only getting paid by a ceiling, you know, and it's a max, you know. There will be always a max. And if you do get promoted per se, right, in a particular industry, right, the ceiling is not going to be much different. But if I'm in a performance-based job, right, I know that I can make more, you know. I always know I can make more depending on how hard I work. Later, I realized that if I can't scale it, then it becomes a problem. Same like you. I've done interior designing before.
Interior design, okay.
I've done interior designing before. I work for a company. The money was not bad. The money was pretty good. Later, I realized after I have to do 6 different projects at one go, and that's when I like, oh no, you know, I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
You are successful and then you are overwhelmed.
Yeah, you know, where it became like, money is not the. Then the thing swap, you know. Money is it's not that it's difficult to make, but then sustaining that amount of money, right, in that very moment became very, very, very hard. It's like, you give me 10 projects, I'll be very happy. But I will have to reject 5 projects because I know I can't do it. I mean, I learned cost and I learned costing from interior designing, product cost, and then you have to do selling cost, the selling part. how much percentage you have to, how much percentage differs, and then plus all the screw ups that might happen in the interior design, in a house, you know.
Yeah.
You have to have that, what do you call this? You need to make sure that you have enough
Yeah.
to actually cover up. And then I realized it became very hard. So I don't only have to manage the project, nor design the project, but then also have to manage the finances behind it. And then I'm only getting, at the end of a project, I'm only getting this amount of money.
Yeah.
And then when you stack up, and then for like a project is like maybe approximately about 2-3 months project, and then you need to see, you know, whether
Yeah.
you're actually breaking even or actually losing money.
Correct.
You were not sure you're going to make money, right?
Yeah, we
even
were-
as it was going on.
Yeah. And yeah, at the end of the project, you do get a sum. But then after you divide it into 3 months, assuming you have 5 projects, you divide it into 3 months, right? You're like, I'm getting paid the same as the other employees. What's the difference, you know? I'm making like $3,000 per month. I can get $3,000 paying job out there. And but that was not the stoppage. Something hit, COVID. And then that's where I was like, how am I supposed to sustain projects cannot be run in a certain at this current moment.
Foreign workers cannot
foreign
arrive.
workers can't go into Singapore during that period of time. Most of our foreign workers are from Malaysia during that period of time. I'm like, how? And then the question is always how? You know? And it became a problem. That was the most worrying part. Prior to that, I did Airbnb. We were talking about that just now.
But how long were you in this interior design?
2.5 years.
Less than 3 years.
Yeah.
So you're learning everything on the job,
Correct.
right? So when you started, you want to go to business because you say, when you work for people, this is how much you're worth, but this is how much you're paid.
Correct.
You went to business because you want to be fully paid.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you realize you got to pay out a lot of things.
I actually after Airbnb was a very good moment for me back then. COVID happened also still, so during the moment, so everything had to shut down. When I jumped into interior designing, I actually had a plan to open my own interior designing company. After that, I was like, you know what, I'm getting like 20 to 30% out of whatever project because I need to pay back the company, right? So total project cost minus 70%, 30% is what I have. You know, the balance profit 30% is what I have. And I'm like, if I can get a project and I can get 90%, that one. And I was observing how my bosses will work closely with my bosses. It's like, shit, no wonder he drives a Ferrari. He gets 70% of just making sure that the company sustains, making sure that the company got contacts, making sure that the company has what do you call this? Sponsors and all of that. And 70% is in the pocket while we are running the projects. And he's there in the office. I wouldn't say he's not doing anything. He took a lot of risk building, you know. But then that's scalability, you know. But for me, I'm like, I'm part of his 30%. I'm part of his 70%, you know, of the chunk. And I wanted to start my own business, own interior designing business. But then came the problem. I realized how much does it take to actually start that company, and it was a lot. How much connections do you have? You need to find a lot of connections and all of that, and the risk was so high. I mean, the profits and the reward will eventually be there, but it's uncertain. You know, there are a lot of interior designing companies.
A lot of money up front.
Like I think we mentioned this before. As long as the other company can do it cheaper than you, right, you're screwed. You're entirely screwed. So I'm like, can I be cheaper? Can I really? Then after that, the idea just went out the drain, and I totally, you know, just.
Oh, so you killed the idea before you even started.
Yeah,
Very wise.
I killed the idea instantly. I think that's the problem with our generation. We tend to let's not kill the idea. We haven't even started, you know, and all of that. But whose money are you going to use? Are you going to take money from the bank, maybe $100,000 I don't even think it's $100,000 to start a company, and then you're not sure whether you can beat the other market out there. You can be different from the other market. I mean, different maybe you can, but like does that mean profitability? I don't think so. I think
So anyway, going into interior design business on your own is not an asset-light strategy.
Yeah.
You're going to tell us about your asset-light strategy, your Airbnb. No need to own the property, can make money.
Yeah, I mean, like just now you mentioning, you can just lease the ship and all of that, which is what I did. I leased the place. I didn't have to pay money for the property or whatsoever. All I have to do is Airbnb fees. I have to pay for the maintenance of the place, security of the place, and how much at that time I don't have to pay.
But your Airbnb is not in Singapore, right?
Yeah, it's like
And where was this?
I was in Bali.
Bali. Oh,
Yeah.
so exotic.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
You Singaporean guy, you lease a property in Bali to run an Airbnb. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think that's allowed, lah, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. How well do you do?
I think 3x, I put in 10k. The first round was a test. It was trial.
10K, you make 30K.
30k.
Okay.
Then then I was like, this is easy.
Wait, 10K per month, and then you earn
No,
30K.
10k. But after a year,
At least.
for the 2 years, I make about 30k.
Oh.
Then after I was like, this is perfect. 30k. Let's reinvest it and buy more, lease more. So I was like, this is genius, It's easier. Think like Bob, I didn't have to do much. I just have to go in and out, enjoy my life. Over there, I think I stayed there for 3 months only, in and out, total about 3 months. So I was like, okay, let's do this. And then what happened? Then COVID happened. Then I was like,
That's it, finish.
so that 2 years lease finished, and I had another 1 year. I had another 2 years lease, so it's another 10k. Okay, about there approximately, And I was like, okay, perfect. Now I maybe can 6x, everything, So it's perfect. Just reinvest, And then when COVID hit, everybody cannot go to Bali. Everybody was stuck in their own.
So you have your cost, but you don't have your revenue.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, how much I get back? I break even. I made 10k back. So I was like, so what was the point of the whole entire 3 years? And during that period of time, what's the point? Like, if it cannot continue and it's not bulletproof, I mean, initially we didn't think about the pandemic, all of that. We don't think about the stuff. We only think about how the business will sustain and how much money you can put in and whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
But when things like the pandemic hit, right, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Everything has to come to a halt. Time stops over there, and then you're like, so what can I do? Nothing.
You know what? You just went through $1 million experience, right? You got started, you did well.
Yeah.
So you got excited, so you put more money in.
Yeah.
You know when's the risk highest in business?
Put more money.
When you're doing well. Because when things turn, they don't turn little bit by little bit, they just crash, right?
Yeah.
Which is your experience.
Yeah.
Now then, question is, why didn't you stick to it? You couldn't, or you?
I guess my problem was, okay, back then I was young.
Okay.
I was young. I was like, 18, 19, around there.
Looking back, do you think if you stuck to it?
I would have stuck to it, honestly. But property costs will rise also, during that period.
You have to bear the cost for a
Back
period.
then it was cheap. It was 10k. Right now you go and see, it's like 30k, but 30, 40k, and depending on how big the place is.
Yeah.
And but if I were to stick on, right, I think you will still do very, very well. But I was not wise enough during that time. I knew nothing about business. I knew that it was a thing that rich people were doing. So I was just following, I said, what's this? Okay, how I came up with the idea was very interesting. So I went to Bali with my friend. Okay, and then we met people, we start to connect with people and all that. They say, hey, why not you come stay in my villa? You don't have to pay a single cent. I was like, stay in your villa? This guy is white. Why would he have a villa in Bali, So we went to his villa, we make a lot of friends and all of that. Then he said, hey, today we will be moving to another villa. I was like, another villa? I was like, shit, okay. Then we went there, then after that, he owned multiple villas, and I was like, this guy is good, Then I'm like, so I asked him, I said, how do you do it? Then, do you have 10k? And I think he said 10k USD or something like that. Do you have that? And I said, yeah, I guess so. And I said, do this. Easy. Don't think so much, just try. I was like, okay. So I did it. Anyway. So it was not mentor. Okay, I won't call it mentor. It was like, by the way, you can try this, So and I was not wise enough to stick on it. I knew nothing about business. I know how cost and everything works, but that was like baseline. Everybody who wants to start business needs to know cost and profitability and all of that, That's baseline. but I didn't have the wisdom enough to stick on it. Everything that failed for me, I would just ditch it. You know, like what's the point? I wasted 3 years on this. I wasted 2 years on this. I wasted inside my head was constant. I was just I keep on thinking that everything is just a waste of time. And at the end of the day, I don't get anything out of it. Later do I realize it actually helped me in the end.
Okay, at least you didn't lose a fortune. You got your money back.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people when they go in business, they put in a few million.
Yeah.
They close down. They not just lost the money they put in, they lost the bank's money, and then they end up in bankruptcy. You know?
Bankrupt.
Yeah.
So they lose the money they never owned.
Yeah.
Right,
True.
but I think the key is if people are going to go into business, they got to put in the time, assuming they have the money or something or somebody who can bankroll them, right?
Yep.
Right. So if you don't have something or someone to bankroll you and you don't put in the patience, how could you hope to succeed?
Yeah, I agree on that. I think a lot of people don't have that patience. I think you're based on your experience, how long do you think a business, let's just say to be very successful, okay, how long do you think the business need to run for?
5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
No, and that's based on the fact that there's statistic that they check on companies' longevity. How many companies survive the 5-year test?
What's the
5-10%.
5-year test? What's the 5
Can
year?
they survive 5 years before they close down? I mean, you see business come and go, right?
Yeah.
You see restaurants shut down now and then, right? So business do come and go. So there is a statistics that say that only 5 to 10% of businesses will survive the 5-year test.
Survive means profitable or
Continue, keep going.
Just keep going.
Maybe barely, or maybe doing well, right? Then the next test is 10-year test. Now, when I say that, it's just a question of, are you willing to give it time? But time costs money. You're going to stay in business for 5 years, how much money you prepared to sink in? So they may start for 500,000. But when you lose money, what do? You got to put in more money, right?
Yeah.
So how many people can do that? Right? So which is why if it's capital intensive, most people cannot last.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yours was not capital intensive, right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
You just lease and just tahan and then go out, right?
Yeah, tahan.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I paid for was experience.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years is like a course, you know,
Yeah.
Airbnb
Well,
course.
I mean, I guess with the lockdown, also no one knows how long that will stretch.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
very
That's
hard
so it's
to.
risky.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was going to be 2-3 years.
Correct. Yeah.
I think I was not prepared for it. It was a blindsided thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's another new virus. Yeah. So
if you didn't invest in that 2 other villas, right?
Yeah.
Would you be able to sustain?
I think I would. Honestly,
Or
I
would you be able to, would you stay on for the 2 years of COVID?
Very good question. I honestly look back at it I was like, if I had the momentum in that moment, probably I would. But what I feel right now is, what if there's another pandemic? I think that thing really stuck with me for a while. It's like the PTSD moment, you know. Things can go very well, like, you know, in a moment. But like you say, when the dip happens, right, it can liquidate you just a moment, in an instant, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I have that fear, and because of that fear, I'm not willing unless I'm not the person who, I guess, the bulletproof idea at this point from the knowledge that I have, right, would be not doing the Airbnb, but actually owning the properties over there and then leasing it out to the people who wants to do the Airbnb. I think that would have been more bulletproof.
Assuming you could own the property.
Yeah,
Assuming I can own the
assuming.
property. And I think that I think if you have, I realize this, if you have a bigger chunk of money in your pocket and you have more willing money to lose, you know, I think you'll be safer in sorts. Like if you can, like if I do Airbnb, I come out a chunk early. Like for example, 10K. 10K is very small for honestly a business, you know.
Yeah.
But if I have a bigger chunk of money and I can own a villa and lease it out to people, that thing is still there. It's an asset, you know. Whether people just lease it or not, I still have it. It's mine, you know. I can sell it off eventually, whatsoever. But you need to have a bigger chunk.
Yeah.
And it's safer that way. And it always boils down to capital lah, whether you have that capital or not lah. I think that's how I would do it differently in this current moment.
Okay.
Experience.
Experience.
You have a business experience of
I
your own
think,
too,
I
right?
think for me, it's exactly the same as you guys are. Just we tend not to scale the business. For me, I was doing production, I was doing weddings and stuff. The only problem that I had was actually not the money problem. I had to start with the capital lah. So my capital for production is of course cameras, lightings and stuff, all the lightings and stuff. It's just that when at a point of time the money was good, but I didn't scale. So the scalability for my side is actually owning a lot of people, having a lot of people under me. So like for example, they do different stuff instead of me doing everything. So the problem was being being to be able to have a lot of people is the problem for me, because I didn't have that mindset to open to scale. For me, I just wanted the money lah. This has been in my mind for a very long time, which is not to be into a 9 to 5 job.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to be my own boss lah.
Even before you finish school.
Yeah, actually,
Even before you didn't want to be stuck on a 9 to 5 job.
because I think for me it's because the people I stick around, right, is people who wants to do business, who has a lot of money, who has even my uncle. I think he was the one that struck me lah, because every time for Raya we will go to his house, and his house is always a bungalow. So from Pasir Ris to Changi to Upper Thomson lah.
Okay.
So it's like
You saw his financial success.
his financial success. So it's like something for me to like, what does he do and what can I do to become like him? Yeah, so that always stuck in my mind. So I tried lah. I tried to do something similar to him, but in my own way. So production was on my own way.
So you set up your own production house.
Yeah, I set up my own production house. So, but before that, of course, I had to have experience and stuff. So I worked with a partner. I did the camera stuff and I did the editing style, and which was similar to you because you were doing all the work while your boss is like behind there, right? Yeah. So that was the wake up call for me. I was like, he was earning like the 90%, then I'm like only earning the 10% of it. So it's like
I
not
want to
fair.
be my own boss. I want to make the money he makes, right?
Yeah, that's why. So it wasn't fair for.
Okay. So how long do you stay with that boss?
Almost 1 to 2 years.
Then you went out on your own.
Then I went out on my
Okay.
own. I went out on my own. It's very funny. So the the client that he had last time, he was charging too expensive. Sorry if you are watching this, he was charging too expensive. And then after I stopped being under him, I went back to those clients.
Oh, so
I
this guy
charged-
came to you.
So I did the sale, the whatever he said. Can I be cheaper? So
See,
I
whatever
did-
you do, you can be good, but somebody will come in cheaper, right?
Yeah, so I did the cheaper way. So I charged the client cheaper. So eventually he took it lah.
And you did well for a while.
I did well for a while, but this is the other problem for production also. Production is a high value market. So after a while, the client got financial issues, which he couldn't pay me. So it becomes a problem for me because I was already cheap already. It was the cheapest that I can go. So he wanted even more cheaper. So I cannot. Because it doesn't make sense for me because I'm doing all the work. And then
And
we
you have to
stopped.
pay for your costs,
Yeah,
right?
I had to pay for my costs because I have lightings and stuff. And then at that point in time, I actually had a team already. I wanted to scale already. I had a guy and another editor. So it was going good already. So I was like, okay, wow, I have a team already. But then the client don't want to continue. So like, shit, what am I supposed to do? So I cut out the editor. So I did everything on my own.
So you start retrenching.
Yeah, start trenching. Then after that, continued for a while, still cannot continue because the financial wise in Singapore, the rental for them is too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think for 1 month to own a cafe in Bugis, right, it's around 20 to 40K. So it doesn't make sense for them to even have another thing to pay for.
You're talking
So
about
like-
your client.
Yeah, my client.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's why they have a inability to pay you.
Yes, correct,
Okay.
correct. But when I ask them, so is my marketing doing any justice
Helping
for
you or
guys?
not, yeah.
They say yes, but it's still not enough. So it's like, okay, so is it a rental problem or a marketing problem? Yeah, so a lot of things lah. So I didn't dug even deeper. Eventually they say that they are paying for another marketing that isn't doing well for them. So it's like, why do you keep doing that? Because they're doing ads also. So the ads was on my side. So they were doing ads, then they would be paying 4,000, and the ROI for the ads is like 10% of that 4,000. So it's like what?
4,000, you make 400.
Yeah, like that. So like, why do you keep continuing? And then eventually, I couldn't be the guy who explain that the ads is not working for you.
You are getting involved in a client's business, almost
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
consultant for no fee.
Yeah, that's why. So it's like, okay lah, if you want to do that, just go ahead. Because
How long was your production house adventure?
quite long because I ventured to a lot of stuff. I ventured to weddings, I ventured to photography, I ventured to filming, I ventured to, the last one was social media. The social media stuff was the best one because every business needs social media.
Okay.
Every business needs social media. They need their social platform to be to market people to, what you call that?
Wider audience.
Yeah, wider audience. So that was the niche that I went to, which was doing very well. But I think
There's always a but, huh?
yeah, there's always a but. Finding the clients, finding
Okay.
the right clients was the problem for me because the clients that I had didn't think that marketing was important for them.
Okay.
So
Well, you got to find the right kind. Now, I'm interested to know, how good was the good time?
how good was the good time?
Like, how do you did the big money actually happen? Because you go into business to make money, right? Do you actually see the big money?
Actually didn't it was going well, but it wasn't as big as I wanted it to be because
Okay.
I was charging cheaper than my competitions.
You're
So
cutting
I
the
think that
margins.
was one of the issues that I had was to go even cheaper than my clients. Yeah, so for example the market for photography weddings was actually 3K, but I was charging only 1,000. So
Bargain basement price.
yeah, so that was very it was, and I didn't see the value of my own work.
So it became you're paying people out there are paying 3,000.
Yes.
You pay 1,000.
Yes.
But then you can't prolong the business because of that 1,000.
Yes, correct.
So you're trading longevity for that short period of
Yeah,
money.
correct,
I think
yeah.
that is something that I think a lot
A lot of people do that. Actually, a lot of people do that. We call it the spoil market lah.
Yeah.
So I was the spoil
Killing the
market.
market.
Yeah, I think you should know lah.
Yeah.
So the
What would it have take for you to be able to charge premium pricing for your services? Because really that's what we need to be, right? I mean, I used to work in the stockbroking industry, and there was a year when they said we are deregulating commission. Deregulate means you can charge high, you can charge low, right? But everybody was charging lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
And I'm like standing aside, hey, why don't anybody go out there and offer premium services at premium rates,
Yeah.
Nobody did. They were offering premium services at
Yeah.
bargain basement rate. Everything gets commoditized.
Actually-
so I wonder what it takes to have premium service at a premium rate.
No, so for me, right, my rates, I always raise my rates. Every few years, I'll raise it. At first, I will get people who are, wow, it's so expensive now, I don't, then they'll try somewhere else. It's fine. Because they eventually always come over to me because I know my worth and what I can deliver. And then eventually that became my reputation, expensive, but But when I think about it, it's not that expensive compared to a lot of other things.
Yeah,
It's just that you're comparing.
Yeah, cheap, not necessarily good, right?
Exactly. And there are times when they hire someone halfway through screw up, call me to clean up the act.
Yeah.
That kind of thing happen. And
And you get to charge a premium price?
yes,
Okay.
I sometimes I charge double. Because I say actually I'm pressed for time, right?
Yeah.
But then you want my service, you didn't hire me to begin with,
Yeah, I think like you say, I think you point out very very important question. I think during that period of time before they decide whether you're expensive or not,
Yeah.
I think they were just hopping into the idea whether that was it a priority for
Yeah.
them. They don't realize that it's a priority until like you say you have to clean up the shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's always the case. Like people like okay, for example, products let's talk about products out there. People buy cheap products and then after that expect it to go give you a crazy good result, or crazy good outcome, And then after that, little do they know, right? They already spend thousands of dollars
For
or maybe
something that doesn't work.
doesn't work,
Yeah.
and then it's like, you know what? I finally gonna try this, and then what's the diff?
Yeah.
What's the diff? You spend a year, okay, example is you spend a year trying something that doesn't work, that costs you about $2,000-$3,000,
Yeah.
and then after that you're gonna try something more expensive then suddenly it actually work.
Yeah.
Then it actually covers back the whole entire year worth of your progress or the outcome that
Correct.
you're looking
Yeah.
for, and it doesn't. I think people need to learn that the products out there are priced in a certain way.
Yeah.
You take it
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
But that's the consumer learning experience, right?
Yes, correct.
But as a business owner, what do you have to do to be able to charge premium price? You got to be good,
Yeah.
Correct.
and people got to know you're good.
Yeah.
But how will people know you're good if you're just there for 6 months, right? You stuck around for a while, then after, hey, you're still here.
Yeah.
Hey, I already lost money there. I lost some bad experience. Can I come back to you?
18
So it
years.
takes a while, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how come Singapore Airlines can still charge the kind of price they do when people
Yeah.
can have half the price? Why?
Yeah.
And how come they can still fill the plane? Right? Because they have invested in their branding, their marketing, and maybe they do offer premium services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would take a while for you to create that
Yeah.
premium branding.
Yeah, for me
right?
was the portfolio, because the portfolio was the thing that shows the client what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
It's very funny because I see my price, I see my competitor's price, and I see their portfolio, and then I'm still charging this price, and then I don't know what's wrong with me last time.
I think it was. I don't think you're to blame for that.
Yeah.
I think it's just during that moment you didn't know what it takes for you to actually charge the premium.
Yeah.
I think you were worried too much about the price back then.
I think I was worried to not get any clients. Yeah.
But that would have been a good way to start. When you start, you charge low. As you build a reputation, you can start charging higher.
But there's a saying that don't charge too low. So
No,
I think I charge too low.
but let's just say it is not wrong to charge low to get an entry into the market.
Correct,
Yep.
correct.
The idea is to build up your resume, your
Yeah.
track record, and then you can charge higher, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I asked you how many years were you in the production house?
Roughly 2 to 3 years.
I think it takes longer than that
I
to
think-
build.
Honestly, I had more experience before, but I started doing the portfolio during that 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to say the whole production years, I think already 6 to 7 years already. But I only started doing the portfolio during that 2 to 3 years.
But as the production house in that name, it was 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years.
Right, so you need to create the premium branding for that production house.
correct.
It takes a while.
It takes a while.
Right, which is why I think if people don't have the wherewithal to survive the test of time, it's difficult to make it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree.
We don't want to be charging commoditized rates
Yeah.
forever, right? We want to start. We can start there, but we have to build up.
Yeah.
But time is
I think time
What we
is the
need.
most important thing.
time to
Just
prove
be
yourself,
patient.
right?
I got a question, a dying question. What do you think is the best industry to hop on in this period of time? What do you guys think?
For
Any
me, it's
ideas?
digital marketing.
Digital marketing.
There's also a space for I lost my words.
Digital marketing,
Yeah, digital marketing is one of the best because all brands need digital marketing, but it depends on what that company, that the niche of that company is also. So for example, for me was food lah. Food was the best for digital marketing. But if you want to go into a business of your own, something that is actually for me it's just digital marketing.
What do you think?
I think it's affiliate marketing.
Affiliate marketing, okay.
I think it's businesses where you don't have to come out with a lot of money, but just your time, and things that, in that sense, safe, especially in today's climate, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not sure of, there's wars going on, petrol prices going up, and all that stuff. So it's going to affect a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
So what can you do that is still sustainable and have a steady growth? I think it's
That's interesting. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have to think. I just ask ChatGPT lah. Can or not?
Can,
Can.
of course.
That's it. Don't look for the right industry. Look for the right business model.
Okay.
You can be the right industry but wrong model, right?
Okay.
They say, what's the right model? Okay, then you say, look for something asset-like,
Asset like.
which is what we talk about,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Don't require too much money. And digital first.
yeah.
Okay.
Can go digital.
Alright.
All right, and then have a subscription or recurring revenue model. Hey, I'm beginning to feel quite happy about that. And then build for overseas business because Singapore is too small. You got to have a way to reach out.
Diverse, yeah.
AI enabled. Hey, in the age of AI, we got to do. So yeah, this is the business model we have to look for.
What do you think? They say that's the best business model that we should look for, right? What industry do you think have this kind of model?
I think wellness, because I think many years ago, when I went into the wellness industry, it was because Jack Ma actually said the next big thing was wellness, and this was maybe about 8 years ago.
Jack Ma.
Yeah.
On the
Alibaba.
Yeah. So that was when I thought that's interesting, you know. But then wellness is also very broad based, right? People think of wellness, they just think of a spa and all that. But isn't it all about your well-being? Without health, then what else? You can't do anything, right? So that is the and especially in today, I mean, after pandemic and all that, I think people care more about their own well-being, their health, and health is not just physical but mental state as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think I think subscription is the best way to go. Or if you were to get that recurring every month.
Yeah, it's not a one-time. It's not a one-time sale. It's a
Yeah,
recurring.
it's a recurring sale.
I think insurance has that. I think I think a lot of what are the industries? I think property.
Honestly, everywhere you can you don't even have to go to the insurance. You just go to your phone, YouTube, Spotify.
Yeah.
All these need subscription, ma.
Yeah.
If you don't have that subscription, you will have the ads and everything.
Yeah, I think as long it can compound every month and is able to scale within your means. There's one thing that that you mentioned a few days ago that stuck with me. Do you want to be paid 1,000? Do you want to work 1,000 an hour or
Okay, the question is this: you want to build up your branding until you're worth 1,000 an hour, but you have to work for every hour. But if you can work for every hour, work hard, and you get 1,000, good, right?
Yeah.
But there's an alternative. How would you like to build a business that can give you $100 every hour, whether you're there or not? I think last time they call it residual income. That means the income will continue after you stop work. But we now call it passive income.
Yeah.
After all the work's done, the income still keep coming. So would you like $100 of passive income every hour? Or would you like to trade your brand and your services for 1,000 an hour? Which one you want?
Obviously passive.
Yeah, I'll slip through the 100.
Yeah, that's what we need to look for. Right?
Yeah. I think there are businesses out there that provide such. There are industries out there that provide such the idea, I think the idea of creating your own business and growing it and scaling it, the only way for you to make very good amount of money is actually selling the company. I think this is something that you agree on also. And I think people need to really understand how to create the business. Everybody can start business, honestly speaking. I think it costs very little today to start a certain type of business. And but the right business model has always been the key factor. Subscription, scalability, you know. And
I think we can learn from Tan Chong and Grab.
Yeah.
You know the connection, right?
Tan Chong?
The founder of Grab is a son of the Tan Chong family. Tan Chong is the company built up on auto parts, selling cars, Nissan, all that in Malaysia. Then the son have this idea, right? Young guys, right? With idea. Say, I want to set up a business of my own to prove I don't know what the motivation was. So he created Grab. He doesn't have to own the car, he just leases the cars. Right, and then he created today a business with buildings is huge, right? So he created something scalable, asset light. Like you want a smart pioneer guys, right? You don't have to own the property, you just lease it and then you sub it. You're on the right path.
I think like Eng Hai mentioned, Grab is like crazy. It's crazy good. You know.
You don't have to own the car.
You give a people where a platform where you connect other people, and then after that they just have to use their own cars. You don't have to borrow their car. You don't have to pay for their fuel. You just have to pay them a fee, and you take a certain percentage out of it. And I think that's the key business that actually can go.
So now we have to look for our own Grab and our own Airbnb, right? Airbnb is the biggest hotel group, right? Without owning the hotels.
Definitely.
So Grab is the biggest taxi service without owning the taxi. Right? So what is it we can do where we can own a lot of business unit without having to pay for it? If you can find it, that's where we need to go. That's the business. Smart business.
Thank you for watching our podcast, and please follow us on all our social media platforms. All our social media platforms are in the description. We hope to see you soon.